Carl Coulage for the Sports Hit List by the fans and for the fans. This is Off the Top Rope, our pro wrestling show. Thank you for joining us here. Thank you to all of our fans for continuing subscribing to all of Sports Hit List content that we provide on a weekly basis. So today we are here to talk some pro wrestling. This is, as you guys know, dear to my heart when it comes to WWE. And we are here to recap WWE Smackdown and also preview Monday Night Raw, which will kick off in about 28 minutes Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to bring in two contributors, a part of the Sports Hit List family, to help us, break down SmackDown, preview Raw as we get ready for Money in the Bank, which will be July 18th. It's that time of season. I personally love what's going on right now because we get Money in the Bank and then we get SummerSlam. I think WWE moving forward should continue doing that booking and having, some of their top pay-per-views in the summertime. So having July, fans coming back, moving forward for next year, they should definitely look forward to having both pay-per-views, back to back. Money in the Bank seems to be shaping up to be a good, solid pay-per-view, and then that'll lead us into SummerSlam, known as the biggest party of the summer. So let's introduce some of our contributors right now. Let's bring in Randy Louis, my brother from another mother, I like to call. He's also from the Backstage Brawl. Mr. Randy Louis is in the building. Randy, how you doing, sir?
Hey, how you doing? It's good, man. It's good to be back. I just got back. I literally just got a hint.
From where? Where were you?
I was in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh wow, there you go. That's what's up. Take a look. Listen, they let us out. Now we could travel. Now it's time to get back to normal. So I'm sure everyone's doing the best they can to get out there.
It's a beautiful city. It's a beautiful city.
So you were just visiting family, or you just decided Charlotte was the place to go?
I have friends that live down there in Charlotte. So my friends, live in Charlotte. I have a couple of homegirls that live down there as well. One person from my church actually moved down there with his family. I didn't know how strong the Catholic Church was down there, or Haitian people were down there as well. So they
got a big Haitian community for sure. Absolutely. Did you get a chance to see any of the flares? You in Charlotte County? Did you do the little woo down there for us?
I did when I touched down, and I went by Panther Stadium and the Spectrum Center where the Hornets play. So cool. I did it up. It's a beautiful city.
That's dope, man. Definitely have on my bucket list. My goal is to visit at least every state before I hit my dirt nap. But we're gonna bring in Biscuit. His nickname is Biscuit for the Sports Hit List, a contributor, which is Clint. Clint is coming through. Okay. Biscuit, can you hear me, sir?
Yo, what to do?
How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We got your boy Ricardo Etienne is in the comments. I know he's watching, so you could definitely say what's up to him. I know he's in the comments right now.
What's up, Ricardo? Yeah, no, I just actually commented on him. He threw the video up in one of our groups, so I was chatting with him. I was watching you guys talk, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm like about to be on here. Let me drop my phone and pay attention. My bad. So
listen, bro. Every time I see your setup, I just want to rob your house. Like, I kid you not, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I just want to dive into the computer screen and just I just want to get one of those belts. Like, let me challenge you for one of them.
Man, they're actually all about to come down. They're all about to come down though, because this room was the man cave, but now it's the baby cave.
Oh, so God bless.
Congratulations.
So all my soccer scarves are up over here to my right. You can kind of see them over here in the corner. I've got a whole wall, like a 10-foot wall, and then I got the belts and then a Ric Flair robe.
Congrats.
And stuff. I gotta find.
So when is your wife due again?
December 5th.
God bless, man. God bless. Well, thank you for joining us for sure. But guys, let's not waste some time. Raw kicks off at 8:00. Review of SmackDown. Clearly, SmackDown is the A show. For those of you who may not know, and true pro wrestling fans understand that. For me, in my opinion, SmackDown is the best show. It's been the best show for a long, long time. And I'm loving everything going on over there. Clearly, the news is Edge is back. And he clearly looks like he's going to challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship heading into Money in the Bank. Clint, what were your thoughts when you see that's the angle they're going with as far as the main event for SmackDown?
I mean, you saw the whole thing with Seth too. It's going to set up that they're going to go, and then it's going to be a DQ with Seth. I just see it in my head. That's going to set up SummerSlam for Edge and Rollins. But I think it's a good filler feed because Ray, I mean, that just wasn't a good matchup with the way Roman's firing on all cylinders with Heyman and the Usos. I mean, Ray, it was kind of just a fluke, So I'm happy they're going with Edge with that star power and really going to bring it in with something else. And hopefully that's going to those three can probably work some magic together, I think.
Yeah, honestly, I think I saw again. I try to stay away from the dirt sheets, but with social media, it's very hard not to fall upon something. And I
Yeah, oh my gosh.
and then I fell on something that kind of was hinting because Seth Rollins, when he was doing his whole when he was doing his championship run, he kind of was like Edge was in his way when Edge couldn't wrestle, and he kind of pinned him down. And now that Edge can wrestle, this will be possibly the feud going in SummerSlam. So Randy, could you see a Seth, doing the run-in, doing like the kind of like a mini Shield reunion run-in to kind of cost Edge the championship to kind of set him up with Seth going into SummerSlam? Is that a possibility?
I would say, I mean, like Mr. Biscuit said, I mean, it sets itself up.
Listen, it's a new nickname to get used to, but I kind of coined him that. He told me he didn't have a nickname, but I kind of told him that he go back to high school.
That's my softball nickname, and that's what everybody kind of calls me here. So it just,
we're going with Biscuit.
It was either that or Carl's twin, either one. And I'm not tan enough for that, so here we are.
So the story writes itself. The story writes itself. So I do see Seth coming in or interfering in some way. I'm not sure if it's going to be a disqualification. I do think Roman's going to pin him to kind of make sure it's a definitive win over Edge, even if it's by shenanigans. But Seth will have a huge role in that, in setting up SummerSlam. And it's a beautiful way why they did it. So, like, who else but Edge? It makes perfect sense. And for once, thankfully, it's on SmackDown. Yeah. Storylines make sense, and there's continuity, and it bleeds into something. It's seamless, and it can easily transition into Seth and Edge. So I'm all for it. I love it. He
said on Talking Smack too, Seth cut a promo about that too, that Edge can just come back and step in the way, but he hasn't been here since Mania, and Seth has been there since Mania and working every week and this and that. And that was kind of plugged. So when I saw that, I didn't read a dirt sheet. That was just from Talking Smack, him kind of saying that. But yeah, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see happen too. I think
that'll definitely be a solid match, especially with SummerSlam being outside. You want to have your best of your best. Clearly Seth Rollins is one of my favorites. He's a great worker, in-ring worker, great promos. You put him in with anyone. Clearly he made Dominic look like a star last year. I'm sure with Edge now being older too, like they're going to put on a great clinic match. He just coming off a freshman.
No buckle bombs. No buckle bombs.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's coming off a great feud with Cesaro, which I'm sad to see end because there was clearly some great matches. Between them, but
I don't think that ends definitively. I think they'll revisit it at some point in time, but that story's not fully done. That's what I feel.
Yeah. But moving along, how do we see this? Clearly Jay is away right now, and Jimmy is kind of like trying to find himself within the tribal chief is honor and acknowledging. Randy, how do you see that playing out? Real quick, go ahead.
I have a very good hot take. It's going to set up between brother versus brother at SummerSlam, and it will be a show stealer. And at the end of that night, Jimmy, who's been so hesitant to join the table, will fall in line that night because if they're gonna go with John Cena, what better way definitively to go over the company's most over babyface in the last 15 years by doing something so low, by having, by shenanigans and having Jay come in and Jimmy come in and finally acknowledging him as tribal chief, falling in line with the table. And they have that stable will run roughshod until whoever Roman challenges at WrestleMania, because I
also read something. I also read somewhere where they may add somebody else. I don't know who else they can add, but there may be another family member joining the bloodline. But Clint, do you agree with Randy about having Jimmy versus Jay at SummerSlam and kind of filling out that storyline and seeing where it ends up?
I mean, I like it myself because they're both athletic as hell, man. I mean, they are freaks, and I think it would just be, double super kicks, and then you've got them jumping off the top rope. I mean, there's so many different ways these guys could do it. And they've tagged for so long. They know, their chemistry in the ring is probably unreal, training together and stuff. So, the match that they will put on, if it happens, will be an absolute showstopper. It'll just be like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens matches. They've just worked together so long and been around each other so long. The chemistry is there. And I feel like Jimmy and Jay would be the exact same way. They'd just go left and right and bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. Steal the show.
So moving along, one of the other biggest things going on right now, clearly heading into Money in the Bank. And, as you guys saw from my promo, the tribal chief may have to cash in.
Promo.
I may have to cash in.
I got 6 of them you can cash in.
I may cash in one of those down there.
Come on.
So, but as we see right now, heading into, we have 4 spots already filled up, and there are guys who haven't necessarily won the any form of a top championship. You have Ricochet, Riddle, Morrison, and Big E already qualified. We have one more match qualification between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens coming up. We have another qualification triple threat, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and Drew McIntyre tonight on Monday Night Raw. So that leaves 2 more spots. I'm curious to see who fills that out. But what are your guys' thoughts here, Clint, with how they're booking Money in the Bank? You see a lot of more competitors who haven't been in that position yet given the opportunity.
I like it. I like the way it is. I hope that AJ gets into it just because he is super athletic. I don't want to see Randy in it. And I'm an Orton guy. I'm a mark for Randy Orton. But he doesn't need to be in there. And unless him and Riddle kind of feuded out, but I hope they don't because RK Bro is one of the best things going on Raw. So
agreed. Absolutely.
I really hope AJ is in, and then I hope that Sami Zayn gets in. That would be my personal thing. I like the way they're booking it. My hot take that I was texting you about earlier, I hope to God that Big E wins, Kofi somehow pins Lashley, and Big E comes out and turns on the New Day and takes the belt, bro. That's what I want to happen.
Wow, I did not see that coming at all. This is why I don't like talking spoilers.
You know what's funny?
That would be. Oh my God!
Wow. You know what? This is why I don't like listening to spoilers because now you got my brain turning, bro.
Well, that wasn't.
You know what's funny? That can work.
I know. But I'm saying it could work though. That's great booking. I did not even see that at all. That's the way. But you know what? It would suck though because Bobby Lashley would have to lose the championship, and I like his run. Like that's a great way to book it. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but it just sucks that Bobby would have to suffer from it. You know what I'm saying?
And it brings it in.
And it works.
They feud, and then Brock comes in, and if they have a triple threat at SummerSlam, Brock can take the loss, and then neither.
So what's the triple threat at SummerSlam? Brock, Big
Lashley,
E,
Big E, and
Brock.
Yeah,
Wow.
those 3.
The story is actually there because like it's an extension of Kofi with Big E, and then whatever he becomes, Bobby Lashley and Brock have never had a one-on-one. So you put them in a triple threat. So if something like that were to happen, because the match was a definitive between who's the best between Brock and Bobby, you set that up for one of the big 4.
That would help Raw because then it brings Big E back to Raw. And it adds another big guy there because he's stalled out on SmackDown.
I trade Drew for Big E.
That would be my big thing. Like that would be my hot take.
And you know what's crazy? I kind of thought New Day would break up because Kofi, because you kind of see MVP planting the seeds a little bit, right? Talking in Kofi's ear, talking to him. And so I thought he was going to turn on Woods. But then someone said Woods would be the better guy to turn because Woods would be, and if you notice, Woods has been doing great in his singles matches. He put on a great clinic against Bobby Lashley. He had another few matches with Riddle a couple weeks back, which were great stuff on Raw. And I think he's definitely a solid wrestler. So that whole New Day breaking up split was kind of teased a little bit. And now we're having Kofi having his championship opportunity. That's not a bad booking. Randy, how do you see it playing out? Clint was a great idea, but for your booking, how would Money in the Bank play out? Who's winning it? Knowing that we still have 4 spots available right now.
I still have Big E winning it. I didn't have the idea of him going back to Raw. Like that's something that my god brother Tyler would do because normally fantasy booking is what we do. So it's like the fact that you came up with an idea like that. Now I may have to borrow your idea in a group chat later today.
Well, you know what? Listen,
it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
And off the top rope, just give credit. That's all we got. Just tag Clint and just give Clint his credit because if this does happen, which I hate using that word,
we heard
it here first.
Right.
You did, absolutely, you did for sure. And it's crazy to believe. And this is my theory. Before I let you continue, Randy, is that WWE watches all these podcasts. I kid you not. Some of their writers are tapped in to all these little groups that we're doing and all these little shows and getting ideas. So don't be surprised if shit does come through. Somebody was listening to and saying, you know what, that's not a bad idea. You never know. You just never know. Go ahead, Randy.
Yeah, that's true. Like, because the thing about it is, like, Clint's idea sets up until WrestleMania. Like, you can definitely a lot of those ideas that you brought up on the show so far. You can basically book it writes itself until WrestleMania. You can continue to have content. It's how you put out the content and make sure that it matters. So when things get stagnant, you can make a big show in the middle, like a special show, you know, on what the Raw or SmackDowns. But in this case, Raw needs it more because the show has been lacking for a while. Sure, we've had a solid Raw last week, but it's one thing that they've had a trouble with over the last few years is continuity by bringing it over the following week.
Stretching.
So that momentum
anytime, right? Like
that momentum is tough.
But you know what? I will say this though. Over the last week's Raw was pretty solid. Getting back to SmackDown, the one thing that they really need to do, which I'm hoping that this is what it's leading to, this whole King of the Ring, this whole King Corbin and King Shinsuke, just bring back the King of the Ring. Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is the only problem I have with SmackDown right now is there's no way Shinsuke is going to take a crown off a man and not even earn it as an actual king in the tournament. They need the King of the Ring tournament. It would be great to have for stars who are up and coming. You could put in 8 superstars from SmackDown, 8 superstars from Raw, have a big tournament. You have Riddle, you have Ricochet, you have all these guys that could use this exposure. Why not just bring back the King of the Ring? And why not even have a Queen of the Ring tournament? I don't understand. It's great. I don't understand why Vince is steering away from something that's successful.
To be honest, it's funny because like on our last show, because we did a show based on pay-per-views. Because the fact that I already think it's too many pay-per-views enough between the big 4 as it is. Money in the Bank is the only one I think that could be part of that big 4 you could put to as a big 5, because that's the only main pay-per-view that I can think about that can have that much attaché. Because I think that these other pay-per-views that come so frequently exhaust storylines. You see what
storylines quick.
They burn it out. So it's like even in the Ruthless Aggression era, like the build up to WrestleMania used to be like, okay, there was no pay-per-view in March. It was just No Way Out, straight to Mania. You have that month to build up the show, which is why the build up was so great. And I posed a question in that, in the episode. I was like, when was the last time you can honestly think to yourself they properly built up WrestleMania with storylines from top to bottom? It's hard to think about, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But that's one thing for sure I really wanted to just get out there is that, like, I'm all for them to bring back the King of the Ring tournament. I love it. I think it definitely catapults a lot of careers. It has in the past. Clearly, we saw, I just finished watching the Bret Hart documentary. It definitely catapulted his career. Owen Hart, you have Edge, you have Stone Cold, Triple H, Brock Lesnar, Ed. Like, there's a list that goes on. Kurt Angle goes on and on for past King of the Ring winners, and how it's Wade Barrett is a former one. Sheamus, I believe, won. William Regal.
But if you're gonna have the tournament though, like they had it a couple years ago, and King Corbin, look what they did with it though. They didn't do nothing. Like you can't but
he kept that consistent storylines, right?
But he did. But you got to
credit to him though.
Correct, but you got to put people in there too that are gonna bring credit and like prestige to the tournament too. You got to put some names in it. You can't just like throw in all up and comers to make it. Oh, well, we're going to find our next big guy, you got to get somebody.
But you know what? That's what the tournament has been in the past. Like, for some of the guys who were like, it was that next level for them. Like, Austin, the minute he won King of the Ring, he cut his great promo that got him where he needed to get. Next thing you know, he was main eventing the following year. Same thing with Triple H. And it's crazy. As you guys know, Triple H was supposed to win that 96. He took the fall for the curtain call. He ended up winning it, I believe, the following year, and then was his rise in DX. So I think using it should catapult them from that mid card, like that's like that intercontinental US champion person, then getting them to that next level. And the same thing for the women too, because I think with so many women that you can have a Queen of the Ring and have a Queen and King rule the WWE empire and have them work together. Like, why not book that? Like, I think you could have
that's a good booking though.
You could have a Queen of the Ring tournament and then have a King of the Ring, and then just have them come together, and they're basically the rulers. If anything, have them like GMs for like a week or something like that. I don't know, whatever it is, but they basically rule WWE.
And I have a perfect way to put this in a perfect situation. So, what better way to do this by having special, like have the turn like NXT does it with the Dusty Cup? Have those matches on TV, fill up your show, and continue storylines because who knows? You can develop brand new storylines from that, and you can find that star you've been looking for. That's one. Two, by the time you lead up to it, the best way I probably would put it, the one pay-per-view that I probably would keep, and it could be well enough for that, is like have a Final Four on a pay-per-view where like a Clash of Champions or something, or a Night of Champions. Have that person be crowned at that night when everybody else had their titles on the line. It's like, 4 major titles that they'll be defending. And then the rest will be those final matches of the King of the Ring tournament. Have that main event. You got your King and Queen co-main event, and whoever ends the night as King and Queen you can go with Carl's idea in terms of how to run WWE. There's so many things to
yeah. I don't know if we got to
that.
start like a petition on Twitter, like they did with the hashtag Bring the Divas Back or something like that, or bring women's wrestling or for the Yes movement. But I need the King of the Ring movement. If I got to start it with my voice, I'm going to be vocal about it. We got Ricardia810 in the comment section. He said, as much as he thought he'd hated it at the time, he misses the Raw and SmackDown alternating pay-per-views, then joining up for the 4 majors and Money in the Bank, bring that back. I thought that was a dope idea too. Each brand getting their own pay-per-views. Because you basically maximize the talents for their specific pay-per-views, and it gives everybody
and the storylines as well.
And the storylines,
and you're being the most efficient with your time too. I mean, you only got 3 hours or whatever.
We're about 8 minutes away from Monday Night Raw. Clint, what do you expect coming from this Raw here? We still have, like we said, we have the triple threat match to determine another spot. We have the Bobby Lashley and New Day kind of feud going on. Rated RK Bro. What are your feelings here going into this Raw today?
Man, so like you guys were saying, I caught the highlights from last week because I was on the road. It was a good show. I'm afraid this week is just going to be lackluster in comparison, which kind of sucks, is that you can't really expect like good show after good show after good show after good show. I'm excited to see the triple threat. I think it's going to be good. I hope AJ comes out on top. I want to see what happens with Orton and Riddle to kind of see, because after last week when he won his match and they were kind of going back and forth, I want to see if something else happens with that. If he comes out, maybe costs Randy or does something to that effect, and just see if there's kind of cracks in that wall. And hopefully,
I mean, he cost Randy last week a little bit, in a sense, because he was.
Yeah. My bad. I'm getting all my stuff mixed up. But and then I hope we see some planting seeds of Big E and Kofi getting their match at Money in the Bank. That's what I hope. Even though he's on SmackDown, I just hope that starts happening. So
listen, the only way that could happen is if they could give Woods a spot, because again, after this we have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That's right. And then you still have 2 more spots. I believe it's going to be 8 competitors in there, so there are 4 open. Randy, AJ, or Drew are going to take up 1 spot. Then you get Zayn and Kevin.
I hope Sami Zayn takes it. Not that I don't want to see Kevin Owens in there, but I'd really like to see Sami Zayn back in another Money in the Bank match myself. Yeah, that would be me.
And then you get 2 more spots. So those 2 more spots,
2 SmackDown guys.
Actually, Kevin might be out. Owens might be out because he's been hampered with injuries as of late, so he might take some time.
I saw on Twitter he was talking about taking some time off, but I mean.
Yeah, but then you got, like I said, you got 2 more spots. That could be 1 Raw guy, which would be Xavier Woods, and then another SmackDown guy. One thing I do like about Raw is they're adapting what SmackDown does. A lot of guys are being behind the scenes segments. So you got the modern day Maharaja is in the backstage scene. You have I think Mustafa Ali is in one too. So you see a lot of some guys are just popping up doing backstage scenes. I think Mustafa Ali's trying to coach this new guy. I forget his name off the top of my head. Mansoor. Yeah. So listen, don't hate on the modern day Maharaja. I thought that was one of the funniest things when he had his championship run. I can't
remember. He made it work.
He made it work. It was great. It was great.
It might have been crappy in terms of buy rates, but the fact that even if it's crappy, if you can make it run and make it work despite it being crappy, that tells a lot about you as a performer.
Yeah, and we're still talking about it today. So obviously we didn't forget about that 189 day run that he had.
No, yeah, it was great. It was definitely great.
The fact that you remember the time.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly.
But yeah, we have Monday Night Raw coming up. Definitely, again, on the road to Money in the Bank. Fans are coming back. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. As I said in my opening monologue, I think moving forward, now that they moved Money in the Bank from June to July, just leave it like this. Like 2 top pay-per-views in the summertime. Money in the Bank, head on into SummerSlam. They got rid of Extreme Rules, which was totally crappy from last year. Like it was so lame. So I think moving forward for next year, hopefully they decide, okay, this is going to be our booking for the summertime to just bring out our best. July Money in the Bank, and then August will be SummerSlam, clearly. So I think that's the way to move forward, to have it. What are your guys' thoughts on that moving forward? Should they continue that?
I agree.
Less gimmick pay-per-views, because the Money in the Bank is basically unofficially the Big 5. No more gimmick pay-per-views. Like no more Extreme Rules, no more TLC. Hell in a Cell, that should have been the last one of the year. Like we need like themed pay-per-views back, not like gimmicks, because you've exhausted a gimmick to the point where when you see it, it's almost like it's not special. The Hell in a Cell is not special anymore.
No.
Sure, you've had some matches because you've seen it, but it's not special anymore. Like
it takes away the effect. You need to bring back like your Cyber Sundays. No way out,
bring back those
things like that.
Exactly.
Because I'm with you. I hate the stipulation pay-per-views. They're the worst. Money in the Bank is good.
So basically, you're saying to get rid of TLC, Elimination Chamber, and
Hell in a Cell. Like you can still have those matches, but don't make a
not at those
around. Yeah, especially Extreme Rules is the worst one because.
But you know what? But guys, here's the thing though. Money in the Bank was special, but here's the thing though. Money in the Bank was special at Mania, and then they just turned it into a pay-per-view. So you're saying to keep that, or
that's
I like different. Money in the Bank though.
No, I like Money in the Bank
because there's a lot more high spots and there's a lot more people in it. So I mean, you can have different guys. I mean, you can have a high flyer and a big guy all over.
There's more unpredictability. There's more unpredictability in the Money in the Bank than any other pay-per-view that's usually on that calendar outside the big four. So it like outside the big four, that's the one thing that everybody's looking forward to. It's like, well, I'm not looking forward to Extreme Rules. Money in the Bank is next. So I'm looking forward to that because it's never let anybody down.
Right. So clearly, so clearly you keep Rumble, of course. Then you have Mania. Money in the Bank stays, SummerSlam stays, Survivor Series stays. I like Clash of Champions. I don't mind it because every time it's defended, so I don't have a problem with that. So then that leaves
that one should stay.
So that's 6. So that leaves you with the rest of the year. So that gives you another 6 if you're doing one a month. That leaves you with 6 more bookings to get if you think about it.
No, you can scale it back to at least about 10, maybe 8 at best. That's my hope because
from like February to March to April, you could have 60, 90 days, depending on how long you want to build.
Right.
Like AEW is doing it. Like the thing about it is the formula that AEW is doing is the same formula that they used to run before the In Your House events in WWF.
Yeah.
So it's like Tony Khan took your formula you did before the New Generation era and is putting it in your face because you support wrestling specials.
But you know what? That's part of the problem. Like I did a presentation for one of my master's classes talking about how can WWE change their product. Back in the day, there were less pay-per-views, but now you're talking about more pay-per-views. Raw is 3 hours. SmackDown, NXT, WWE Network on Peacock. That's just like I get it. You want to try to get maximize your product, but it becomes so much
saturating the market.
You're saturating the market. Too much.
They went public. That's their problem. They went public. They should never went public.
And that's not even mentioning talking smack and then Raw
talk.
Raw talk. That's so much content. Like sometimes
and
someone asks me,
the NXT show too?
NXT has
NXT UK, and then
the bump. Their web show they do.
The bump. Yeah. So again, I understand it because we're in a social age and you want to have as much content as possible, but shortening the pay-per-views, kind of keeping people less with more gives them more. Like it's the same thing. It's the same booking with SmackDown. SmackDown is an hour less. It gives people less, but they still wants them keeping more. Guys, we got 1 more minute before Raw kicks off. Thank you for joining us here on Off the Top Rope. This was definitely a fun conversation. Thank you to all the people who put up in the comments. As you know, this show could be an hour long, but we like to keep it short to leave you wanting more for next week. So that's why we have the half hour. Guys, thank you for pulling up. Possibly I'll have you guys back on next week, but I want to spread the love and see who else is available to jump on and get their opinions. And maybe I'll get you guys
anytime with the Power Father, man.
Listen, and maybe I'll get you guys on for the pre and post show for Money in the Bank because I know there's going to be a lot. And I'm really going to be intrigued with what Clint had to say because if your booking comes through, that's going to be just golden.
Man, if we find some tickets, we might still be in the crowd because it's only about 30 minutes from my house.
Really? Listen, you know what's crazy? If you do go, I could have you be a correspondent live as it goes in because I did it for the NBA. I'll have you live from there just to get a reaction of what's going on. That'd be awesome.
All right, I'll let you know.
Just give me a heads up anytime anybody.
For sure. I will.
Yeah, just let me know. I'll talk to you guys soon. It's 8:00 here on the East Coast. You guys be well and take care. Now, please make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to All Sports Hitless content. The Wednesday show for the summer hours is now being moved to 6 p.m., not 4 p.m. because I got a summer job. I got to pay the bills. So it's being moved from 4 to 6. I get out of work at 4 o'clock. I can't make it in time. So 6 o'clock on Wednesday is the next show we'll have. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Oh, and tonight, actually, I'll see you guys tonight for the post game for Game 5 of the Suns and Clippers game series. I'd
like to be part of this. I want to be part of that one.
We'll see. I think we may have a spot open. Randy, I'm going to be chatting up with you.
Because I really get a chance to talk basketball with you. I'm actually jealous. So this is my first time.
You know what, Randy? Text me right
now. I want the smoke from them.
Listen, Randy, I may have a spot open. Just text me right now. I'm going to try to get you on. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, no problem. Thank you, Pop.